All right. Welcome, everyone. And it's so good to be able to share time and space with you. This is Lisa, and you also see that we've got multiple guests today. So, Lisa and Mika are here for our mindful inclusiveness live podcast that we do once a month. But you are in for a treat because we have the amazing Dr. Douglene Jackson. And we love talking to Dr. Douglene because it's almost like a Where's Waldo. We like, where's she at? Right? Because if you are interested in seeing the world, then you need to be following Dr. Douglene on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, whatever it is that you do, because she will take you all over the world. If your money is small, just follow Douglene. You just live vicariously through her. And then we have the amazing Ebony Evans, who is our director of youth and community services here at the Ujima Center. And today we are going to be talking about mindfully inclusive collaboration. And so we brought some extra people on, but these are people who are living the example of collaborating not with just people in your in group, but the diverse group of people to make sure that you get both big and little things done in the world. And so we're going to open up with Mika. We're always, as you know, we always start with a mindfulness activity. And so, Mika, we're going to pitch it to you.
Greetings. And so we're just going to take a few moments of deep breathing because we got to get into all of this goodness. And so I'm going to go ahead and set my timer to hold myself accountable. But let's just get settled where you are and take a nice deep cleansing breath in. Hold it if you can. And then try to exhale longer than you inhaled. And do two more of those. We're going to do 3 mindful breaths. Take a nice deep inhale. Feel the sensation of the breath as it comes in, the movement of your chest as you're inhaling and exhaling, and then how that breath feels as it exits. And then we have one more deep breath. Nice, long, slow inhale. And a long exhale. And that's something that you can do for yourself at any moment in time, maybe before you go to collaborate. If you're wanting to be inclusive for sure, these are just some mindful tools and tips that you can take with you to be successful. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Mika. And I don't know if y'all can hear, because we did mute on our end, but in the background,
Mhm.
we've got so here at the Ujima Center, our Success Academy under Ebony's leadership has expanded from pre-K to 6 to we got babies all the way to the 12th grade now. So right next door, there are some amazing young ladies singing the Black National Anthem, and they are killing it.
Awesome.
So good over there. Where I'm just like, stay focused, breathe. But I really want to say hallelujah. But anyway, but we're gonna be talking about collaboration today. And so our first question, and we're just gonna popcorn it around, is how do you define collaboration? And what has been your strongest example of a positive collaboration in your lifetime, and what do you think were the key elements of it? So how do you describe collaboration, and what has been your strongest or best example of positive collaboration, and what were the elements that made that happen? And Dr. Dougley, I'm gonna start with you because you always have a great story.
Thank you. Thank you. The first thing that comes to my head is, do you want to hear a personal or do you want to hear a professional? Because we collaborate in all aspects of our life, right? We collaborate with our family, and we all know how that can go. And right, we collaborate with our formed family, which is that of our friends, our coworkers, and things like that. And we collaborate professionally, especially if you're out doing community participatory research or any type of engagement. with the community. So for me, it's being authentic in that and allowing and embracing everyone as their true self. So I'll speak from the work side, and I've had the opportunity to work in a community that looks like me. And I'm happy to be able to do that. And when I step in the room, you know how we do. We like to size each other up first, see who we are, especially when we're stepping from the ivory tower of academia into the community to see if are they sending a token, a pawn, is this a Trojan horse to begin with, or what are we stepping into? So for me, it's nice to be embraced authentically for the community and being able to shift my hats when I'm having conversations like, okay, I'm speaking from my Douglene hat, I'm speaking from my Dr. Douglene hat, and I'm speaking from my community representative hat, because that collaboration piece allows me to walk in my own authenticity with each of those things. So whether I'm leading a conversation for an organization where I might represent the community, I can speak to that, and they trust me to have their back, not just for face value, but I'm actually there because I care. And in the work that I do, I want to lift everyone up. So that collaboration piece first starts with you being your true self, being transparent, and then embracing the community for their lived experiences and value in what they bring as their personal PhD. So that's collaboration for me.
That was great. And I love how you said the many hats. And I think we need to embrace that more, because you do have a different lens and different knowledge, and you can approach things in a different way when you're like, oh no, this is me from my personal experience. There's value in that. But let me tell you what the game and the things that I've learned in academia, right? Or as a researcher, as an educator. So I think we should value that. Sometimes we try to merge everything and it has to all be one sound, one voice, but sometimes you do have to make those shifts. And when you're living authentically, it becomes so beautifully done, like always, Dr. Duck.
Always. Ebony, how do you describe collaboration? And what do you think has been your most positive example?
Collaboration to me would be working as a team where all like-minded or unlike-minded people come together with just one thing in purpose, and that's to make a difference. In my This job is collaboration. I have to. It's new to me. Uh, it's a big step, and it's taking me out of my comfort zone. But I'm having to meet all different walks lives of people and having to put myself in the room with them and collaborate with them on levels that I probably never thought I would even be faced with. So having to collaborate with Dr. Van Hoos is awesome because she makes you think. She makes you like go back to the drawing board and look at different things. And so it's a breath of fresh air. And with someone in my age group, it makes you look at things in a different light that we don't look at the age of 30 and 31 in our early 30s.
And I did not pay her to say that.
She
I
did.
Yes. That is awesome.
Now, I will admit, like, one of the things is like when we think about inclusive collaborations, we tend to think about, okay, tell me the best stories, right? So when did it work out well? But I think there's beauty in the failures and what you learn from that. And so, like, for me, I think back on, we were doing a community-based project out of Mississippi, and one of the things where I feel like we made a misstep is we did not include community members in the actual designing of the project. Now, once the project had been created and we were ready to, start looking for funding, then we started looking for community partners. But at that point, they didn't have the same ownership of it, right? Because they weren't part of the creation. And I could see and feel people getting frustrated because community was like, kind of 50% in. But that was also because we had only let them be 50% in. We had only brought them in on the second part. So to me, that's always something that I remember, is that if you're going to create something that's for the community, then it needs to be created by the community at the very beginning. So that was one of the failures, one of the missteps that I've learned from, and I try to continue to remember. Mika, you got any lessons you've learned from the beauty of failure?
Um, I am definitely not as experienced in community work as you are, but I do know, um, hearing and understanding that part of it. I feel like whenever I come into a collaborative space, with either, the volunteer work that I do with Special Olympics or with students or things like that, I have to really be mindful of, I have to listen to what they want to do and what they value, because I know that if I don't, then it's going to be, kind of like, it will be like those cautionary tales that I have heard. So it definitely gives me some insight into taking a step back. Like, it's not about me, it's about what this work needs to be, what the people that are really going to benefit from it say it is what it needs to be.
Thank you, Mika. Dr. Douglene, what you thinking over there?
I love when you said misstep, right? Because oftentimes we don't acknowledge the missteps. And even in my work today, and I've been doing this for a while, I think of a meeting where we had last week with our community partners, and it was just that, where we had to come together, pause, acknowledge the missteps so that we can go back. Because many who know me know I jump on that emancipatory research bandwagon really quick. And I pointed out that, as you said, nothing about us without us. So the way research is set up is you find the RFP, you go find your community partners, you ask for a letter of support, you put it in, you do your budget, oftentimes without consulting them to see what money they need to be a part of the work. And then we return with the asks when we receive the funding. And that's not mutually beneficial. So those missteps need to be acknowledged, because that uneasiness, that distrust, not just mistrust, that distrust of research and engaging with other entities when you bring the community is really there. And we continue to perpetuate that notion and environment when we don't question our own practices that we were indoctrinated in.
I don't know about y'all, but whenever I just like Douglene speaks, and then I just need a moment to process it, because she says all the things and all the words, and it's just like amazing. You come here, Miss Ruthie. Come on in here, Miss Ruthie. We got another guest walking in here. So
Welcome.
This is Ruthie Evans. She is our director of operations.
Hello. How are you?
And I'm gonna tell y'all, so she's our silent sniper.
Yes.
Because we are talking today about mindfully inclusive collaborations, and so how do you build collaborations in such a way that you include as many stakeholders as is needed for that shared goal, but then also where you are actually co-partnering, right? Not where there's this hierarchical thing. And so here is the tidbit. Soon to be Dr. Evans, what's your PhD work in?
Oh, it's going to be a strategic corporate leadership.
Right in Monroe, Louisiana. Y'all don't even know. We got all this brain power out here.
Yes.
Congratulations and welcome in advance to Funny Hat Club.
Congrats.
And so, how would you describe collaborations, and what do you think are the elements of positive, effective, productive collaborations?
Well, I would describe collaboration as a mindset, like minds coming together to build on that collective goal. First of all, establishing what that goal is, and then finding those like minds that want to work with you to reach that obtainable goal. So that's what collaboration is. And what was the next one?
And what are the elements? Like, what are the things you look for in partners?
The first thing I look for in partnership is mentality. What is your thought process as it relates to what we're working on? If your mindset is not engaged to that, it does not matter what I bring on board, you're not going to buy in on it. So first of all, I'm going to search what the driving piece, the mentality, the thing that makes you go. And then after we establish that, then we can build on from there.
See, y'all wasn't
She
ready.
just dropped the mic. Dr. Douglene dropped the mic.
Right.
Ebony dropping mics. Like, where's the sound effects? We need some sound effects in this space. I love all of that, but that mindset piece, that's kind of everything that we talk about with mindfulness and with collaboration and this inclusiveness. And what I hear you say is, from a community standpoint, if we're coming in as researchers, as therapists, we have to be okay with our partners being curious, right? Because you want to know more about it. You don't know us. We just dropped in here and we don't even do that. Like, you're not just coming in here trying to take over. So when people, if you're trying to collaborate with the community, the value of their curiosity, I think that shows like that they're vested. And when people get offended with that, that's where the problem lies. Like, no, I'm going to ask you 10,000 questions because I need to know who are you? Who's your mama and them? Like, what are you about? Because we have work to do.
Yes.
So that's great.
And you gotta you gotta go to the back. So like Ms. Ruthie's office is the first office you see, right? Because she is one of the faces of the organization. And then after that, you're gonna see the fabulous. So we call Ebony Madam Director. That's her real title, is Madam Director.
Yeah.
She'll clap back at you if you don't recognize that she's Madam Director.
Oh, yes,
but y'all, my office, I'm in the back of the building because
way back. Well, you got to think about, do I want to walk back there or do I just want to make an informed decision about this?
Right. Is it one of I just send a text? Might need to send a pigeon, but I'm back in the back because the center is a community care center. So the community members who have lived here the longest, they know the people, they have the relationships. That's who they need to see first when they come through that door to build that trust, to know that this is a safe space. Because I'm still working on capital. And I think that's one of the things where we as researchers and academicians, and sometimes just even as practitioners, we have to yield to all that title stuff we do. Makes no sense when you're talking about just caring for the community, because everybody got a title as human.
Absolutely.
So yeah. So Dr. Douglene, no, but we were in a meeting with you less than a month ago. And so you dropped this term, right? Can you talk to us a little bit more about emancipatory research? Because everybody in that room was like, where is Abraham Lincoln? What just happened? But tell us more about this particular style of research and what you see the potential of it being.
And I'm going to tell y'all to lean in close. You're going to have to rewind it. You may have to slow it down, but it's going to be good. Dr. Douglene, just school us, please.
Yes, emancipatory research, you can look it up. It came about from the disability community because we oftentimes do research on individuals and we don't include them as equal members of the research that we're doing. They become subjects, not even participants do they even graduate to. And the research is conducted not for their best interests, not on things that matters to them, but something we thought up in the lab and thought it was good to study, and somebody might have even thrown some dollars behind it. But that's not what emancipatory research is. That is more the clinical, scientific stuff that we do in our ivory towers. Emancipatory research truly is there to empower those people who are a part of that research. I didn't say participating, who are a part of that research. So as Dr. Lisa said earlier, it from the inception of what you're thinking, the community should be there. And in essence, I have a partnership right now that I started in November. We haven't put in for funding yet because we're building relationship. And I know what I think I want to look at, but that's not what we're doing here. I build relationship. That's emancipatory. I empower them with the knowledge I have. That's emancipatory. When we talk about the items that we're going to study, that's not from me. It's how can I help you with here's who I am and what I can do, and here's who you are and what you all do. What is it that my skill set can afford you to move the needle on your work? What can I do to help your lived experience become expertise that others recognize. That's emancipatory research. So letting the community set those priorities, let the community be a part of that work. And even when we talk about data collection, data sharing, that's all the community as well. They are a part of that process, not just the ones completing the surveys, maybe vetting your survey questions. No, they came up with the questions. And you're there to partner together to emancipate them. What does that mean by emancipating them? Giving them the power. So you're shifting that power that you have as the researcher with your funny hat, as I like to say, to the community, giving them that power. It's flipping research on its head from the way we're used to doing it from a top down to truly being authentic in a bottom up approach. And that's emancipation, emancipatory research.
I'm just blown away.
She was finna run across the room.
I told y'all, drop the mic.
Yes. So I am gonna ask Ebony a question, and then she is in high demand because, as I told y'all, she's Madam Director. Mm-hmm. But Ebony, in hearing that definition from Dr. Douglene, like, what are some of the questions? What are some of the things you think we need to be researching? Partnering with community to research. What's your thoughts?
Okay.
And you can say whatever you want to say. It's your table. It's my table.
Mm-hmm. Say it with your whole chest.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So one thing I think that needs to be more research is education. We're so gung-ho on education, but we also need to research to try to put people in the position in order to further their education. We tell people graduate, go to college, but they don't know the proper way to go to college. So that needs to be part of your research, and go to the schools and talk to these students because they are our future. So I can't come and tell you, oh, I'm a doctor without telling you on the proper way to become a doctor. So it's good to go back to the drawing board, but to also put yourself back in those shoes. You wasn't always where you're at. So go back to where you came from. Always go back to your roots. And education is always at the top of my list, but also I have, a soft spot for like single mothers. And as a single mom myself, we want to do so much, but as a mother, you always forsake yourself. It's always your child, and then you, and you tend to lose yourself. So finding ways for like mothers to become better moms and better women and better queens, and as a African American woman, to see y'all as doctors, like, it gives us hope to say, okay, you know what? I can really be a doctor in Monroe. I can really be a researcher here in Monroe, or I can do this. And as African American women, and especially in my age group, we don't see that a lot. If you look at the school system, you don't see a lot of us. So it's not a lot of us in the school system. It's not a lot of men in the school system. So we don't know how to tap into that. So it's good to always research the basics. Like, you always start with the basics. And then from the basics, you move up to the next level. And that's where your doctors and your lawyers and your garbage men come in, and to let people know it's okay to be what you are, but just be your best. Like, if you want to work at McDonald's, say, I'm going to be the general manager there. And it's okay to work at McDonald's. It's fine, but I always set on a very high your goal. So yeah.
That's why she Madam Director.
Madam Director, thank you for that. That's
Yeah.
what we need. Thank you.
Because I mean, like, we make assumptions about self-efficacy and people's career awareness and their awareness of pathways to get to their careers. But really, there's a proximity piece to that we don't talk about, right? that in communities that are more affluent or communities that are of lighter persuasion, you have easier access to a variety of different professionals or the opportunity to talk with someone about their pathway to a career. But many times in like these lower income neighborhoods and communities that are predominantly, Black or Hispanic, Latino, Latina, there's just not as many opportunities. And so if we know that education opens up the pathway to so many different things, then we need to start researching how to really communicate those pathways, give people access points, and then sustain them in those pathways. And so, as always, Madam Director, you own it.
Thank you.
You own it.
Well, ladies, it was nice meeting y'all. We have a voting process that's about to start. We're voting for our president for the Success Academy, and they're calling me.
Yes, it is
for
time.
joining us.
Yes, because the young people have been campaigning for the last couple of weeks. Today is voting day. We have actual voting booths. They like, come on, y'all, slowing down our democratic process. But thank you so much, Madam Director.
Thank you. Love it.
So yes, and on Friday we have our State of the Academy dinner, our White House dinner, and the president will give their address on Friday.
I love it. Love it.
That is awesome.
So yes, so as we start getting ready to close out this conversation about collaboration, Dr. Douglene, what are some things like? Because you always do a beautiful job of just making it just like, I'm trying to think of what movie that was that the character was like, just tell it to me on a 6th grade level. Like, you have a beautiful way of doing that. But when people think about doing collaborative work, community-based, emancipatory research, like, what would be the steps you would tell them to start? Like, could you maybe help us walk through that for the people?
Yeah. So as researchers, oftentimes we're asked, well, what's your research interest and what's your research platform? And we spew off something beautiful. I want to look at health equity and educational disparities. And then we're like, okay, so how are you going to do that? It starts first with that partnership. What organizations are out there who are passionate about that work? What organizations are boots on the ground doing that work? Go make friends with them. Go break bread with them. Go serve with them to learn who they are, and they can learn who you are. And then identify those synergies there, because we shouldn't just be doing research for research's sake, publications for publication's sake. And I need to get better at my publications, but I love the doing more so than that, right? I love the doing more so than the writing and disseminating it, but I know the importance of that too. But that relationship building comes with going boots on the ground, partnering, then finding that synergy between each of you as to where you all connect, and then leveraging each other's expertise to go towards that common goal of finding out what it is that you need, documenting your processes that are effective so that you can go get funding. That's a pilot study right there in and of itself. This is action research at its finest. People are doing. So let's document that and get it out there. That's what we need to do. And that's where you start, not at your drawing board, looking at the evidence and what's out there. Yeah, once you come together, then you go and look and see what's out there. But relationship first, and then chase them goals together after.
So as I told y'all, I was like, I don't know how she does it. She just, I don't know. In her other life, she was a lyricist.
She breaking down real nice.
Right? She's just like, I'm gonna give y'all 2 steps. Make relationships and then go chase the money together. If you find yourself chasing money alone, then you not doing community research. You doing your own ivory tower thing. So yes. So Mika Mitchell, you got any closing words before I put y'all on the hot seat?
I'm just absorbing. So what's for the hot seat? What you got?
Okay. All right. So first question out of the hot seat. If money, time, humans was not an issue, what would you be researching? Douglene, you up first.
I will be researching how to steer children on the best path possible, given the best resources, and identifying what's the most effective approach, and having a menu for people to choose from because one size doesn't fit all. That's what I would be researching.
Okay, thank you. So she said, bring on the equity buffet. Mika, what you researching?
So you talk about other people dropping mics. I'm like, wait, I didn't even have a chance to digest that question good. Okay, if I could do any kind of research in any collaborative space, well, my heart is where the students are. And so what I hear Ebony say is that, there's this need for that continued ability to show these paths. And so I think that research is to say, like, we want to increase representation in all of these different fields, but are we really being effective in that, and how can we do that better? And it doesn't have to be for any one particular field. Healthcare would be ideal, but how are we really reaching the youth if they're not seeing themselves represented where they are?
All right. So question number 2.
Wait, you don't get to answer that question?
Oh no, I'm the talk show host.
She's serving the plates. She's serving the seats.
That we go see how long that lasts.
I'm in the basement with the chicken plates right now. Chicken and spaghetti, which I want. But so I am accepting the fact that Mika always tells me that it is okay to have a certain amount of pettiness in your life. So this the petty point moment. So we all have met a researcher that is being not just a researcher, it could be a servant leader, whomever. We've all met that person that is being recognized in community, being lifted up in their professional spaces. But there's some selfishness at the root of that, right? And that person may not be ready to have that conversation with you about it. But my question to you is in 2 sentences or less, what would you say to that person? And I will take a first stab at this petty point. Because way, way back in my research career, I met this human and I was green and told this person all my research ideas, all my business. Douglene know where I'm going. Messed around, went into a meeting and somebody was like, oh, they've been funded. They just got X amount of hundreds, thousands of dollars to do this project that's going to do this, this, and this. And I was like, oh, I got funded? Because that shows sound like my project. So to that person, I want to celebrate your success in life. But if I saw you somewhere and you had toilet paper on the bottom of your shoe before you got ready to give your keynote lecture, I would not tell you. I would be like, bless you and have a great speech. Walk on up there with your toilet paper on your shoe. That's my petty point. So, but I'm waiting to hear your story. So, Mika, I'm going to come to you first. What's your petty point? As we talk about people who, you say you collaborating, but you ain't collaborating. You colonizing.
Yeah, I think my petty point is for the people that are doing it for the accolades and for the notoriety. It's going to come for you. So when you said they may not be ready to acknowledge it, I think this is like the canary in the coal mine. Get yourselves together, because there's this movement of we are starting to say the things that need to be said out loud and in public spaces. So I think if your intentions are not right, you might want to get them right.
All right, Dr. Douglene.
So I have this term that some people call me as petty royalty, because I have to correct them that I'm not just petty. I can be petty royalty. Put some respect on it, right, when I do it. So in essence, in channeling petty royalty, I remind them that God don't like ugly, right? And you can take your mediocrity and try to operationalize my ideas, but it will not be the same.
Oh, come on. Because God brought it to you, Douglene. So therefore, it was your calling. If God wanted to bring it to you and that other person, it would have been a conference call. And it wasn't. So stop. Yes. Okay.
Name it. Call it out. Call it out. Just call it out. Shift your crown. See them hats, right? Put the crown on and call it out.
See, Dr. Douglene gave me a petty royalty.
Queen Lisa takes a whole new connotation now.
Been knighted by Queen Douglene. Go forth and be petted. So,
Go forth and be petty. Yes. Because okay, honestly, I feel like I've said this before privately to somebody. I was like, there is a space for some petty mindfulness. So stay tuned.
man, I'm gonna put, and we're gonna have a t-shirt about it, y'all. We're gonna have a t-shirt for it.
Just
So,
like we have trap yoga, we can have some petty mindfulness right
I
up
know
in
the
this.
right person that's writing these petty business, petty greeting cards. We about to collaborate because
yes.
we need
So
to acknowledge.
if you are someone who you celebrate a little amount of pettiness in your life, you do want to go look for Tiffany Adams.
Petty
what's
company.
Petty? What is it? Petty Company? Is that the
Her card
URL?
company? Yeah. Petty
Okay.
cards.
Petty cards. So get you some pettiness in your life. It will set you free.
Petty Posts CO. That's what it is. Petty Posts CO.
Got it. So we have had our petty moment. We've had a ton of informative conversation as well. So we're going to end it with some positive thoughts. What does the world need more of and why? Douglene, we going to you first.
The world needs more of authenticity and positive energy. That's what we need. Yes. I came branded today unintentionally, but yes, it works.
It was meant to be. And I was about to bust out in a song, but I'm pretty sure how the internet works these days. If you don't have rights to it, you can't sing it. So I would say the world needs more love. But to Dr. Douglene's point, is in an authentic way.
Yes. And I'm going to say curiosity. We just need more curiosity and play. I don't know where we decided that being an adult meant that you could not play. I'm here for some play. So, Mika, you gonna lead us out with our last mindfulness activity?
How much time do I have?
You got 3 minutes.
All right. Yes. So we're gonna kind of end this session of mindful collaboration, a exercise kind of dealing with some self-judgment and self-criticism, because sometimes as we come to collaborate, we do need to own what we're bringing into a situation and how we interact with ourselves. That is how we interact with others. And if we're needing to be in a space of curiosity and collaboration, we can't come in here thinking that we know all the answers and that we are the solution to whatever we think the problem is. So get comfortable where you are. And as you take a deep cleansing breath and then return to your regular breathing rate and rhythm, just kind of hear me out as we talk about this self-judgment and self-criticism, because we're more geared to be negative, to see the negativity, but it takes some effort to be able to see what's positive and where the points of collaboration are available. And so as you breathe, feel the sensation of your breathing, feel the movement in your body. Because our sensations and emotions and experiences help us to be the best person if we give attention to them. And notice if your mind is trying to wander away from focusing on your breathing. What are those thoughts that might be trying to come to you? And we don't need to chastise it. Just identify them, see them, observe them, and allow them to go as they have come. And as you allow your body to sit and rest, you might notice certain ideas or concepts that come to mind, and that's okay. You might notice emotions that are arising, and that's normal. Because when we sit still and when we slow down, when we create space for creativity and play, we create the space for new things to arise. We need to take our feelings off of mute and kind of see what organically is there. And maybe if you're feeling nothing, that's okay. But if all the thoughts and all the feels come to mind, That's normal too. And sometimes you have to let yourself experience that in order to move forward into your intentions of who you are and who you want to be. And so, if negativity, negative thoughts, and your ideas and thoughts of collaborating come to mind, what are you telling yourself about that? How do you allow those thoughts to stay? Do you allow them to stay? Do you have a strategy to help them pass quicker? Because as we inhale and exhale, with each exhale, you can release that and make way for the positive affirmations that might be needed for yourself. Because then when you have that for yourself, you can give that to others. And so as we're breathing, focusing on your breath, giving attention to your thoughts and seeing what comes up for you, consider that those thoughts that you have maybe is what you're expressing to others. And so as we work in collaboration, knowing that if you're not getting the response or the reaction that you want, you may need to take some mindful moments to take a step back to reflect and see how your interactions might be playing into those relationships. And to end this exercise, we're going to take 3 cleansing breaths. And as you inhale, take a long, slow inhale and a longer exhale. Reminding yourself to be compassionate and less self-critical, less self-judgy, to help improve your collaborations and allow them to move forward. And so now we have come to the end of this mindfulness exercise, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us, Dr. Douglene Jackson.
Yes, yes. It is always a pleasure to be able to share space and time with you, Dr. Douglene. You are a jewel. And people probably who are watching, we've had a couple of people jumping on and off, and Douglene is an occupational therapist, because I want y'all to hear me. Don't get caught up on your disciplines or titles. When you see someone who is radiating excellence and goodness, you need to gravitate to them. Don't lose that opportunity just because you think that you can only learn from certain people. So, yes, when there is a good human that shows up in your pathway, you need to drop and be humble and sit at their feet. And Dr. Douglene is one of those. And we just are so grateful for you.
Yes, we adore you, Dr. Jackson.
Thank you. And I love coming into spaces with you all. Last week I was hanging with the speechies. So I love this interprofessional collaboration where we can all allow our lights to shine and illuminate into this world to do greater things. So thank you always.
And Ruthie Evans and Ebony Evans, who serve in leadership roles here at the center, they had to move on because, as Douglene was talking about, we are in the middle of, there's always action going on here. And I heard you, Douglene. I was like, you know what? We need to write about that. We need to immortalize the stories of what these women and community members are doing, because it is amazing how they are mobilizing themselves to take care of themselves.
We can collaborate on that.
Come on, and we will accept that guidance. But everyone have a great rest of the day, and look for someone to collaborate, build relationships with first, and then go find the money to support whatever great vision and dream you have. And that comes from the words of Dr. Douglene Jackson. So we are so thankful for each of y'all, and have a good one.
Thank you.